All right.
Right. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of The Daily Show. I'm here with Jarmani and I'm Milo, and today we're going to be talking about a little bit of baseball. We got some good topics that we're going to gloss over today. We got WBC action, spring training action, and we have a lot of different things to talk about. How are you doing today, Jarmani?
I am doing good. Big shout out to you, Milo, because I know it was supposed to be me and Julian today. I hope Julian. He told me that he wasn't feeling too good, so hopefully shout out to him. And hopefully he's doing good. But yeah, I'm just excited that the WBC is back on and just seeing baseball. So I'm excited to talk about everything we got going on with baseball today.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, well, without much further ado, let's go right into it. Let's talk about WBC. What do you like about it? What are you seeing so far?
I like to see that there's no lack of passion amongst the players and the fans. I know there was that whole thing yesterday with the with Cuba facing the Netherlands and the whole thing with the horn. That was just something that was just making the rounds on Twitter. Me personally, like I don't mind fans bringing like things like that to the game. It did like it's either you loved it or you hated it because it was just it could be rather obnoxious, but that didn't shy away from just like what I took away from the game. Obviously, I had to stay up like past like 12 o'clock in the morning to be able to watch it. But another thing that I do really like about watching the World Baseball Classic is that just the amount of just beautiful stadiums we'll get to see that the casual baseball fan won't be able to get their eyes on, or even Major League Baseball fans. There's so many beautiful stadiums around the world, not just here in America, because I believe they played in Taiwan yesterday, and like just the stadium was beautiful, and yeah, like just it's just a culmination of things. The World Baseball Classic is feels like October baseball back in March. So just being able to watch the first couple of games has been absolutely electrifying for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely an excitement there that is unparalleled to any other. I mean, other than the World Series or the playoffs in October or November. Especially, I think there's something really cool about uniting the countries and seeing how passionate some of these fans are about baseball that you don't really see in the United States. I mean, obviously we have the big four over here, but there are some countries like Venezuela, Cuba, Japan, where baseball reigns supreme. I mean, what that's these people's livelihoods. I mean, baseball is arguably the most popular sport in a lot of those countries. So you will see that passion, you'll see that fire, you will see the horns coming out, man. And it's
I
cool to
just
see, man.
No, absolutely. I feel that I just feel like baseball just has a crazy way of bringing people together, and
Hmm.
I feel the WBC is like is just a huge, like it's I feel it's a giant step for just like, oh, I know there's a huge debate like the state of baseball and oh, baseball is dying and stuff like that. Maybe here in America it may not be the number one priority for a lot of people, just at this point in time. But then, like to your point, around the world, baseball is what people live and breathe on. It runs in the family, and it's just like you got kids in the middle of the street playing with a bottle cap and a broomstick. Like the game runs deep through a lot of these countries and just through generations and generations. So the world popularity of baseball, I feel, is at an all time high.
I agree. I agree. And it's, yeah, like I said, I mean, you just have all these fans that are just excited and stoked, and you're seeing these players too. I mean, we got to talk about the players here. You're seeing players that you know the casual baseball fan doesn't even know. These guys that maybe at some point in their careers will make it to the United States and play in Major League Baseball action, and we'll be able to see them in a Major League Baseball uniform. But for now, they are representing their countries and really showing their true talent. Are there any players that you can think of that are fit that criteria? Would you
I
say?
would I would say there's a lot of names that could cross my mind, but if I try to pronounce them, I'll probably be doing them a huge disservice. I'm not gonna lie. So I know there was a stud in Japan uh that scouts have said that could even be a better player or better pitcher anyway than Shohei Ohtani, or like just the amount of two-way exports that could be making their way to Major League Baseball soon. I can't pronounce their names for the life of me, but I would say somebody who uses the World Baseball Classic, who used it to get on a bigger stage for some people to actually know his name, was actually a player who plays on the Netherlands team right now. Back in 2017, I believe his name is Vladimir Valentin. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if you remember, they played in Dodger Stadium, and I think he had a couple of big home runs with just huge bat. Exactly. You got those guys. And for me, I think it's like this might be the biggest amount of notoriety they may have in the States, because he played in Major League Baseball, I believe, between 2006 and 2008, and then 9 years later, he's popping off a little bit in the World Baseball Classic in 2017. So I feel I love that extra level of passion that these guys from around the world bring, because they're not worried about unwritten rules. They're not worried about just a lot of stuff that I feel has been I wouldn't say normalized, but just a lot of things that Major League Baseball and fans of Major League Baseball may have at the forefront. Like these guys I just find it's just the Little League World Series, but with grown-ups. That's the simplest way to put it. But I would say off the top of my head, I can't really think of any name per se, but I am very interested to see who those players are going to be, because somebody's going to pop off. If not somebody, or if not a whole team.
There is a guy in Japan, and like I'm in the same boat as you. I don't want to butcher his name at all. Honestly, I don't even know his name, but he's a submariner, and he's doing a great job. And I think he's one of those guys to look out for. He's submariner to the max, like where his knuckles almost touch the pitcher's mound. And this guy just throwing some nasty sliders, man. Just throwing a lot of these batters just off balance. And I don't think Japan is going to go as far as United States or Dominican Republic, but I think there's some really key players that could really make an impact for that team, for sure.
All right. I would want to ask you though, because I believe I asked Julian this last week, is that who do you believe is making it all the way? Like who do you think? I know like the first couple of games have gone on, but I would actually want to pick your brain about it. Who do you think has the best chance of winning?
Oh, the Dominican Republic. There's just no question. I mean, there's so much disparity between the Dominican Republic and the United States, and that's they publish the rankings of all the World Baseball Classic teams, and they put Dominican Republic number one, United States number two. I think there's so much space in between that. I think the talent is just on a different level, and a lot of it is the pitching. I think the pitching that the Dominican Republic has will lead them so far, and that it's the offense too, man. I mean, come on. I mean, Manny Machado, Juan Soto. I mean, just to name a few. Jeremy Pena. It's ridiculous. It's almost unfair.
It's laughable. I would
Yeah.
say, I believe I said DR last week, and I kind of have three different horses in this race technically, because I'm half Dominican, half Puerto Rican, but then I was born here. But
Sure.
But yeah, I definitely am rooting for DR for the most part, and yeah, just to your point. But I won't say that's going to be just like a runaway in the tournament. I feel they're going to have a really good showing, and they're expected to. But but I would definitely say that I'm just hoping that we get Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic clash, because I forgot what pool they're in, but that just looks like it's going to be a bloodbath for sure.
Puerto Rico always has fun energy in the World Baseball Classic. I remember, I think it was 2017. They all dyed their hair blonde or something.
They did that
like
again,
that.
I believe.
Yeah. You had Francisco Lindor, you had Yadier Molina, you had all these guys. I think, was it Yuli Gurriel? Was he in that mix too? Could be wrong with that.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I think Yuli actually. I'm not sure if Yuli's from Puerto Rico. I think he might be.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe.
I could be wrong, but I thought that was a cool thing that they did, and just kind of showed their team companionship and chemistry as a whole, and kind of united them. And I know they felt it for sure. So, I would love to see Puerto Rico and DR go head to head. Definitely.
All right.
So, yeah, I mean, on that note, let's bring it back to the United States, and let's talk about how we feel about spring training. How are you feeling about these new rules so far that we're seeing in these exhibition games?
Oh my
so
goodness.
far.
So, okay. So I would say the biggest one that a lot of people want to talk about is the pitch clock.
Hmm.
And all right, so I'll give my stance on it because I know a lot of people. It's kind of like it's kind of been the same thing with like the whole universal DH. There's some people who love it and there's some people who hate it. I'm in the camp that I love the universal DH, and I feel like that
Hmm.
should have been a rule change a long time ago. But in terms of the pitch clock, I feel it's just the amount of confusion as of right now. You're seeing a lot of guys getting called on strikes when they're already in the box and they're getting ready to get set, or you got pitchers who shake off maybe one sign and it's like the clock is still going, but then so I feel like there is a lot of confusion. I feel that it's probably going to leak into the season, and I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of games are swayed or somebody even lose a team loses because of the pitch clock violation and it's a walk off or something like that, and you're going to start getting less and less support when it comes to that. But I understand why they're doing it. But also, baseball to me never was designed to be timed. But I also understand you got some. Everybody loves picking on Pedro Baez. It's some like look. The thing I don't understand is not every pitcher pitches like Pedro Baez. So I get it. Somebody like Luis Garcia and a couple other guys who may like taking their time. But I would say it's more of a detriment to the game itself because I'm not a fan of the pitch clock, but I can understand why it's there, and I can understand, or I would like for it not to just be 15 seconds. I would say maybe a little bit longer. That's all it is because I get it, pace of play and all that stuff. You don't want people sitting there for 4 or 5 hours. I get it, but I feel 15 seconds is too short.
I saw a take on Instagram, not Instagram, sorry, Twitter recently, where somebody made the most perfect point about the pitch clock. And it really just kind of instilled my beliefs about it. Basically, this is something that will take time getting used to, but once players are used to it, we're going to forget about it. It's going to be something that is going to be just, so that clock is just going to be in their head, and it's just something that's going to be, yeah, people are going to get used to it. You have all these young players coming up through the minor leagues that are already used to it, that played in AAA and AA in 2021 and 2022 last year. They're all coming up to the major leagues. They know about the pitch clock. They know about the pace of play and the speed that they have to play. So as time rolls on, the older players, the veterans that are not used to it will get used to it, and the younger players coming up are already used to it. So, yeah, it's a little quick. I think 15 is a little quick. It should be 2025 for me, but I think it's going to be something as time rolls on that we're going to forget about, and it's just going to be like, oh, it's just going to be there, and the game is going to just roll so smoothly. So I think people are shocked right now, and just because nobody's used to it. But once people get used to it, it's not even going to be a thing. That's
Okay.
my thought about it.
No, I hear you. You make some good points about it. I would say what I've seen, at least the argument's been, oh, it's going to take away from the anticipation in late postseason games or in close games. And I would say for myself is that when it comes to the pitch clock, I don't mind that it's there, but it's just the fact that say a pitcher's set and a batter's set and the clock is still going, or if the batter's in the box, then he's ready to go. Like there's no, I feel like the automatic strikes, automatic balls is probably a bit excessive. I get they're probably trying to do it to enforce it, but for me, if the guy's in the box and the timer's up or the pitcher's ready to go, all right, like he throws the pitch. If he's not ready, then that's his fault because
Yep.
he's in the box, so he's ready to go. So I feel like the automatic strikes, automatic balls, I feel like that's a little bit unnecessary. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do modify it in future seasons. I feel this season, since it's a new thing, that we'll probably see the worst of it
Mm-hmm.
if I'm making sense. But I feel like that's definitely something they're going to touch upon for sure.
This is something that, at first I thought I would mind it more than I would. And so far, it doesn't bug me as much as I thought. The rule that still bugs me more than any new rule out there is the second base and extra innings rule. That's the one that I cannot get behind to this day. It doesn't affect pace of play whatsoever. It's been proven. I mean, yeah, MLB games are shorter, But extra inning games, I should say. But I just hate that. I hate that automatically there's a runner on second base. That's the one rule I still cannot get behind. So
I
if they were to take that away, I'd be all for that, you know.
I don't blame you because I'm not the biggest fan of the ghost runner rule either, but I can like again, I try to view it from both sides. So from MLB
Mhm.
standpoint, they don't want to risk they don't want to risk 17, 18 inning games, which I
Sure.
doubt it really even gets that far in all honesty that often. But I can also understand like players were up for it. It's just like lose the increased chance of injury. As a fan, yeah, I think it sucks that somebody can get a lead by somebody already being on second without even having to hit a double or something like
Yeah.
that. It takes away.
Ground out, fly out. I mean,
Yeah,
literally.
exactly. And just
Like,
run
come
score.
on.
So
Hate that.
I can understand the both sides of it. At least that it's not in the postseason. That's
Yeah.
the one thing that I can be happy about that they don't have in the postseason. And I feel a bunch of these rules shouldn't make their way into the postseason. If you want to do it to affect regular season, fine, but do not touch the postseason.
Yeah.
That's all I ask.
Get rid of the pitch clock in the postseason. I'm for that. I mean, so much anticipation, so many big moments, the sweating, you know, late innings. I mean, we've seen it throughout history, you know. I mean, some of the greatest games ever played. I mean, fans are just waiting for that pitch, and the pitcher is like shitting himself. The batter is sweating, and, you know, you can't have a pitch clock dictate that because
Yeah.
before you know it, strike three, you're out, game's over, you know.
Imagine that to decide a World Series.
Oh my God, dude. I
You,
cannot even imagine.
I saw a take that somebody actually made a really good point on Twitter. It's that they were actually calling for the pitch clock to be no longer a thing in the next couple of years because he said watch after the first season when they say the pace they do what they want to do. They get the pace of play down or the time that games take, and then that means people by the seventh inning you're maybe there for maybe an hour and 30 minutes, something like that, and then just concession sales and all that stuff starts dwindling because you're not at the game as often. So it's like
Yeah.
already by the seventh inning or seventh to eighth inning, and you're already about to be out, and it's been like 2 hours now. Then they say owners are going to start revisiting this rule because it's messing with their pockets. But
Yeah.
I probably did kind of a terrible way of explaining it, but
No, I get it.
yeah, but okay, so you see where I'm coming from. So I feel
Hmm.
that's where like the modifications of the rule itself is probably gonna come into play because yeah, 15 seconds I feel is too fast, and especially when if a batter isn't set by the 8 or 7 second mark, then it's the automatic strike thing. I feel if it works like the shot clock in the NBA, I feel like it makes a little bit more sense, or at least tries to act like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight up. I mean, like I said, there's going to be a lot to get used to. And, you know, I still stand by the fact that, you know, this is something that they will get used to. And before you know it, maybe down the line, you know, maybe let's say it does affect a big game, they probably will consider getting rid of it or altering it, maybe pushing it to 20 seconds.
Hmm.
But yeah, we'll see. All right, so moving on, we have a few more topics to discuss. Let's talk about breakout stars in spring training. Like talk about players that are kicking ass that you know we might see Major League Baseball action that are really proving that they can play. Who do you like so far?
I would say, and the only reason I feel like this is like the easy answer for me, but I would say Masataka Yoshida from the Red
Hmm.
Sox. I'm just saying that because he was the first person that kind of popped into my head. I'm excited to see what he does in the WBC and to kind of see how he is at actual game speed and like in the big moments and whatnot. I know there was I thought to myself because I saw it on Twitter of all things again. How many home runs do they think do Red Sox fans think he's going to hit? Somebody said 22, somebody said 15. Well, actually, no, the post said it's 15. I would say he's around maybe 20 to 25 if it's a
Hmm.
good game, depending because I never seen the guy play. So, but it's got me excited to see what he kind of acts as the face of the Red Sox's offseason. It's just like they didn't get the big fish, but they got pieces to kind of make sure the team gets better. If I'm making sense there, so I'm
Completely.
excited to see. I'm excited to see what he's doing. And even Ramel Tapia, he's been fighting his ass off for a roster spot. So I'll give him that guy all the credit in the world. Even if he was responsible for for Duran. That whole thing, getting inside the park grand slam. My goodness.
Oh my God. Yeah, we know how much Trey hates Duran for good reason. Yeah, let me just lose the ball and
him and Josh Winkowski.
Yep, Blue Jays score 28 runs off of you in front of the Fenway crowd, in front of the Fenway faithful.
Crazy.
I'd say for me, as you know, a lot of you know, I'm a big Dodger fan. I'm liking James Outman a lot. He had a brief, cup of coffee at the major league level last year, and he is a 1.00 something OPS. And he already has like 3 home runs this spring, and he's really competing with Trace Thompson and Jason Hayward for a real roster spot in the outfield. And it's tough because Jason Hayward is kicking ass too. You have a lot of players like that are just doing so well, and who knows? It could be a stacked outfield. And Jason Hayward has said that he has found his swing, that something has clicked, and that's what Freddie Freeman said. And him and Freddie Freeman are good friends. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it could be a platoon type situation. We still have David Peralta that we have to worry about too. So, yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, is there anything else that you'd like to cover?
I'm trying to think of other guys because I know we both just voiced pitchers. I would say I'm trying to think of a pitcher. Can you think of a pitcher that it's just hard for me to kind of look at just breakout guys in spring training because I believe it was last year, 2021, when you remember Tim Beckham, right?
Of course.
It was the first game of spring training, I think. Obviously, I believe he was on the Mariners, and he pimped like maybe a 430-foot home run, something like that. And then that was the last you heard of him throughout the rest of spring training. So spring training is like, I usually take it with a pinch of salt because sometimes I can show guys getting ready to pop off, or sometimes somebody pops off in spring training and then just fizzles out and they're hanging around in AAA for the whole year.
So for me, I mean, so early, and I'm a Dodger fan, but Noah Syndergaard, man, 5 perfect innings, like scoreless at least, and all these strikeouts. I'm actually going to go outside. I'm getting tired of being inside.
You gotta show off the view.
Yeah, dude.
My goodness.
Hell yeah. Check out that for all of you East Coast watchers.
Heaven on earth. See,
heaven on earth, man.
You're trying to
it's too confining to be in the car, I gotta say. But check this shit out.
That is, dude. Anybody who plays GTA knows exactly where you are.
I mean, this is right near where I work, so it's fucking perfect. Anyways, sorry for the profanity.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah. So, anyways, as I was saying, man, Noah Syndergaard, I'm loving him. I'm loving him so far. He could be a key piece of that Dodger rotation, and he's pumping fastballs at 97, 98, and that's what he was throwing when he was with the Mets. So we'll see what happens. I don't know, really, but it's looking good for him so far.
Okay. I did ask Julian last week. It was kind of, we were talking about like winners and losers of the MLB offseason, and we talked about the Dodgers. You being a Dodger fan, I want to get your take. Are you worried about the Dodgers at all?
Ooh, that's a good point. Yeah, I am. I think the Padres have a lot of talent right now. I think they're looking like the early 2010s Clippers a little bit, when the Lakers were kind of decreasing in quality a little bit. I think there's a lot of parallels there, but I think it's still the Dodgers division to lose, and they have it, like for the most part, but the Padres are going to make a good run. I don't think it's going to be as, I think it's going to be like a thing where, so many teams make the postseason now where it'll be all right, but they just might not win the West. The Padres might win the West. So the Dodgers might get that second place crown, but it'll be all right.
But you're saying they're kind of like on a collision course with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That's Battle of Los Angeles.
Yeah. What about you guys? I mean, you're a Red Sox fan, so where do you see that?
I mean, I talked to Julian about it last week. I'm saying that I think the Red Sox are going to improve, All right, I think I was more talking about their offseason moves because I never really dedicated any time to kind of really talking about it. You're moving, I should say. You're absolutely. I can't. You done cut out now, but all right. So we might have lost Milo. Okay, but at least let me speak on the Red Sox just a little bit. I believe the Red Sox are going to be a lot better than a lot of people are anticipating them to be. I'd said they did a lot of good things, and obviously a lot of people gave Heim Bloom a lot of crap. And by all means, I'm not giving him a pass at all, but I would just say that the team got better, even if it's just by a little bit. So I don't anticipate them finishing in last place, but also I'm not anticipating them winning a division either. There you are. Can't hear you.
Sorry, I think my phone was acting up. It's like really
Oh,
windy.
I thought you done dropped your phone, so I was like, because you were moving.
Sorry, bro.
No, you're good. Did you hear anything that I said?
Yeah, I think I did. You were talking about Chaim Bloom and all that.
Okay, all right. So you didn't lose me completely. Yeah, so
Yeah.
so
Sorry
I
about
was
that.
I was just no, you're good. You're good. You're trying to enjoy the view. I get it. So I would say what I was saying is that the Red Sox made a lot of good moves to have them be better, and I don't anticipate them coming in dead last or being a disappointment like they were last year. But it's also understanding that I don't anticipate them winning the AL East either.
Mhm.
I told Julian this last week. The Red Sox are baseball. I feel is better when the Red Sox and Yankees are good, and it allows for those games to be a lot more high stakes. And it's more enjoyable for me to enjoy the MLB season when my team is doing good. So I'm saying the Red Sox are at least going to be competitive. And it looks like they got a chip on their shoulder, which I like.
Yeah, I agree. I think the AL East will be a fun division once again. I mean, I think the two teams that are gonna make it out alive are going to be the Yankees and the Blue Jays. I think those are the two teams, 100%.
I would say this about the Blue Jays. I guess this is probably like my one, I guess, hot take or unpopular opinion, I should say, is that I don't buy the Blue Jays as
Interesting.
legit. I like that they brought in Dylan Varsho or Dalton Varsho, I should say,
Hmm.
and like they always make the right move or they're always, I wouldn't say reactive, but they always make the moves that push the envelope. So they're always they. I'm not gonna say they're legit because they really like what have they done recently? That's what I'm saying. Like they've been really good, but they haven't allowed that to correlate into postseason play. It's kind of like my opinion on the Sixers is that
Yeah.
they're a great regular season team, but then they fizzle out in the playoffs. So until I see the World Series having to go through Toronto, I'm not buying the Blue Jays as being as scary as a lot of people may look at them to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it rides on their bullpen. I think if they can kind of solidify their bullpen for once, they could make a deep postseason run. But right now, they are just an ALDS team right
Mm.
now. I think they will be great during the regular year. I think they'll win 90 plus games, and they have a young lineup that can really boost them up and a solid pitching staff with Hinge and Ryu and Kevin Gossman and guys like that. Um, but yeah, you're right. They need a little bit more. They need a little bit more of a push, and their bullpen doesn't wow me, as we talked about. And I think the Yankees still have it. I think the Yankees re-signing Anthony Rizzo was huge for them. And they just have such a solid team. I mean, you get a healthy Stanton and a healthy Judge, they're the best team in baseball, 100%.
I haven't told a lot of people this, but Giancarlo Stanton was my favorite player before he got traded. He's my favorite player in baseball before he got traded. I still love Giancarlo Stanton, but he's not my favorite player anymore.
Yeah, I love Stanton. I think he's like a demigod or something like that. Him and Judge are just both like freaks of nature. They could play the Toon Squad and beat them. I mean, look at them, man. Like 6'9", like 250 pounds of just pure freaking muscle. I mean, there's no juice in that, man. They're pure talent. They're just amazingly awesome players. when they're healthy, of course.
Stanton hasn't had a 40 home run season as a Yankee yet, has he?
No, I think he's come close a few times. I think he's hit 38 a few times.
Yeah.
I think the last time he's actually done that was with Miami when he hit 59. I think he's only hit more than 40 once in his career, and it was that season, if I'm
I
not
would,
mistaken.
I'll give him credit in the power department. He's been a model of consistency.
Yeah,
And like it's funny how we just like slide over to Giancarlo Stanton, but I hope that he actually like turns up and actually has a really productive season. I believe he was really good last year too, right? Like obviously he was kind of flying under the radar because Judge, hitting 60. Did he have 61 or 62?
he had 62 because, 61 was the record because he passed Maris. And with Stanton, I know he had a really slow start to the year, and then he turned it around towards the end and ended up hitting more than 30 home runs at least. I couldn't tell you how many. I mean, as you said, he flew under the radar with Aaron Judge. So, but yeah, that Yankees team. I mean, they're the Bronx Bombers, and they have a great pitching staff, and I'd say, I think, don't get mad at me because I know you're a Red Sox fan, but I think you could see a push for World Series for Yankees.
I feel like a lot of people say that every year.
Yeah, but this year especially, I think. Like,
You
way
hear that?
too early take.
Hey, you got if you want to stand on that, by all means, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you're a Dodger fan, so you don't even have to worry about that. If anything, you'd be meeting the Yankees in the World Series. You won't have to be in their path. I
You got
do
to get
like
past the Padres, though.
no, yeah. So you got your own problems to have to handle.
Yes,
I
sir.
do enjoy actually something that MLB is actually changing up is the scheduling, and it's that every team is going to be playing each other at least once, or I believe once or like twice, and like everybody's playing everywhere. And something that has gotten me real excited is that when your Dodgers come to play the Boston Red Sox, that's the first time Mookie Betts is making his way back to Fenway in about 4 years.
That's so cool. I think that's going to be great for fans. I think the Dodgers and the Red Sox have so many players that they've swapped over the last few years that it's just going to be it's going to be such a kind of pleasant matchup. Like, there's not going to be any bad blood. I mean, I hate to bring him up with what happened to him, but Justin Turner, he'll be there, and Alex Verdugo, Kike Hernandez, and then all the Dodgers players that are currently on the team that used to play for the Red Sox, JD Martinez, obviously Mookie, and it's going to be a very lighthearted, kind matchup. There's not going to be bad blood.
I wonder if Red Sox fans would boo him. I feel like there's no reason to, but again, knowing Red Sox fans, they may just do it, even if it's just his first at bat. I don't know.
No, because he was traded, and then the Dodgers offered him. The Dodgers offered him that extension that he couldn't pass up.
I just have the sneaky suspicion, but I know if I was there, I'd be cheering my heart out, because when Stanton got traded, Mookie was my favorite player. I would still say Mookie is. I would still say he still is.
Would you guys boo JD Martinez?
No, I don't think so. I sure hope not. Anyway,
he was loved by Red Sox faithful, man. And his quality, his. I mean, I wrote a piece about it, last year, but I was saying that, and it's funny that he's a Dodger now, but I was saying that his play was declining a bit. And I think it is, but I think he still has 20 home runs in that bat. I still think he could bat 290. I think he could be a solid designated hitter for the Dodgers.
Yeah, don't put him in the outfield at all. He doesn't have the green monster to kind of save him out there in left field anymore.
No, and that's another thing. I mean, the Red Sox were, still kind of playing him in the outfield and splitting him out there and having him DH last season. And so you take that pressure off and have him focus primarily on just offense. His bat will definitely show up for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I feel he'll definitely have a bounce back season. I would say maybe nothing that he had in like 2018 when I believe he had like
40 home runs.
Yeah, 40 homers, like batted over 300, I believe, and just absolute monster stuff. But yeah, I would say maybe 22 to 24 home runs. Maybe like he has the potential to maybe have he may have one more 30 home run season in him, maybe. But I would say yeah, he's definitely a solid hitter. So I would say good on you guys for snagging him up. But No, but
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just excited for the season to start, man.
yeah, I'm chomping at the bit. I think once we get through the WBC, once we get through the spring training, and the WC is going to fly by, and before we know it's going to be March. What is it, 28th when the season starts?
I
If I'm not
believe so.
mistaken.
I know my Red Sox play, I believe, on the 30th.
Got you.
So
I
it's
just
right.
know
It's
that
that week.
I have T-Mobile, and they just sent out that we're getting free MLB.TV for the year, and it kind of made my day, man. I gotta say,
You don't have to worry about blackout restrictions, do you?
I do. So I gotta illegally stream the Dodgers. There's
Yeah.
I gotta pirate that. I gotta put on the ad blocker. That's what I did last year when I saw the Dodgers opening day, and it worked out. Luckily, there's also a bar near my apartment where they have the Dodgers on, and so it's not the worst thing in the world.
Oh
It's just
no.
not the most. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, but chomping at the bit for the season to start. Anything else that you'd like to add, Jarmani?
Uh, Go Red Sox.
Go Dodgers. All right. Well, that that wraps it up for another episode of The Daily Show. Thank
Wait,
you
wait,
for
wait.
being on here. Oh, do we have
Fantasy.
anything else that we... That's right. You forgot something very important.
Me.
Pump the end credits there. We have
Stop.
some fantasy business to talk about. Next week, 12 of us here at Fantasy, at Vendetta, will partake in a fantasy draft for baseball. And it will be very important and very fun and very vital for all of us here at Vendetta and for all of you viewers out there. We will be streaming the draft somehow. We'll figure that out. But yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't heard, to pack any of you up, we're doing fantasy baseball content this year with 12 of our content contributors here at Vendetta Sports Media. Should be a great, fun season. We have a few articles up there already. We have some videos on our TikTok, Vendetta Sports Media, all highlighting the upcoming Vendetta fantasy season. We did a pre-draft where we had basically trivia night, which decided draft order, and that will come into play next week. So stay updated, everybody, on a time and a date. It will definitely be sometime next week. A lot of our writers are on spring break, and it should be a fun time. So, yep, needed to throw that in there. Thank you so much for reminding me. I think, yeah. Is there anything that you'd like to add about the fantasy baseball season coming up?
I'm nervous as hell because this is my first time. Like I've done fantasy basketball before, but this is a whole different animal. And
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's so hard because I feel it's a lot easier just to, like, at least with fantasy basketball, you pick your 10 guys you want to trot out there for that week. And then but yeah, I'm excited. It's a fun challenge to have. Kind of gives me a little bit more investment into the MLB season, kind of like branch out to watch some of these other games and some of these other guys out there. I have some thoughts. I know you hosted trivia night, so I'm not sure where you are in the draft order. I believe I finished, was it third? I know I'm top five at least.
I put myself last just because I knew all the answers to the questions, and that's fine by me because 12 goes back to back at the end. So
You're gonna get your MVP and your ace and those back to back.
yeah, but I have a strategy, and I know if way too early predictions, but the guy that scares me, who I think is going to do really well this year, is Andrew McGinnis. That dude knows baseball so well. He is like a trivia book. He is awesomely, in the best way possible, a baseball nerd, and he knows his stuff. And I remember when we were hosting trivia night, he had a book or a magazine that I guess gave all these tips and pointers. So, while we're on that topic, I'd say if there's anybody to look out for, it's Andrew McGinnis. So, I mean, not to discredit any other people who are participating, but this dude is coming prepared, man. You know,
Yeah, he wants that crown. He wants that fantasy baseball crown. But
he
it's
does. He does.
exciting. It's
And
exciting. I'm pumped.
yeah, and there's money on the line. We're all chipping in like $5 for this, and that'll add more. I think more participation because I think you've done fantasy basketball. I've done fantasy basketball. I've done fantasy football, basketball, and baseball. And there's nothing worse than when people join a league and then don't care halfway through the season.
Mm,
Absolutely nothing worse. And so I think when there's actual money on the line, that's when they give a crap. And so that's what I'm excited about for this year is
absolutely.
people actually giving a crap about their lineups, these head-to-head matchups that are just going to be so fun. And we're going to have TikTok content about all this. So you guys got to all stay tuned. You guys have not seen anything yet. So
I'm
yeah,
excited.
I'm excited too. All right.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
is there anything else now? Is there anything else that we'd like to add before we wrap things up here on the Daily Show?
I think I'm good. I think we're good now.
All right, Jarmani, thank you so much for
Thank
appearing
you.
on here. I'm Milo. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Follow us on Twitter. My Twitter is at MiloBC1. I'm the hippie hiker dude, so check me out on Twitter. What's your Twitter, Jarmani?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at JDepena21. It should be the profile photo should be a photo of Pain from Naruto. Funny enough, I'm wearing a Naruto shirt right now, but that's how you can find me on Twitter. Go and show some support. I love y'all.
There you go. There you go. Also check out our TikTok. We have a lot of great content on there. A lot of baseball content, football content, just everything. So yeah, I guess that about does it. Have a great day, y'all, and take it easy. Until next time
Adios.
on the Daily Fantasy Show.